Surprise, bitches!
It's rude.
It's the only podcast produced by 3 winners of IMSA's Spirit of the Race Award. It is the Check Engine Podcast, and we're back with a surprise Black Friday special episode for you all. Hope you're all fat and happy from Turkey Day, and you're out killing other people to get the greatest holiday deals.
Say in the greatest American tradition, stampeding through the doors of Walmart and Best Buy.
Yeah, run down a small child for a Minecraft Xbox One.
Yeah.
That's the tradition.
Yeah.
That's what it is. 'Tis the season.
We are back with our early bird special, our Doorbuster special.
That's right. And it's streaming on anchor.fm/Check Engine Podcast, or anywhere else podcasts are streamed for that matter. My name is Nick. Same 2 guys have always been with me, are still with me. I've got Andrew to my left. I've got Tristan to my right. Guys, how are you feeling?
Do you feel like he's now subbing us? Like he's kind of disappointed that it's the same people?
He's like, yeah, they're still here.
I'm running out of cool adjectives and cool ways to introduce you.
Yep, it's, yep. I double-checked. It's still Tristan and Andrew.
It's still there.
That's what's going to be in this. And tonight with me, I've got,
Andrew.
That's what
You know who it is.
Yeah, you know who it is. Andrew's here again.
I know who
Tristan's here again. Hey, we're still not pros if you haven't figured it out yet. But you're still listening, so we appreciate that. We're just 3 guys who love talking cars. We love talking motorsports, and we want to talk about it with you, not just at you. So please be sure to reach out. We're at checkenginepodcast.com. It's our very own certified, bona fide website that we have. On that website...
certified. Sorry.
That's right. It's certified. Look it up. Google it. Right after you Google Check Engine Podcast. We also have our very own direct email going through that website. It is inbox@checkenginepodcast.com. We're all over social media. We're on Facebook at Check Engine Podcast. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Check Engine Pod. Tristan's making weird faces from behind the production computer
pure
there.
fear. He looked at me in pure fear.
I thought I was muting the playback on my computer in case I got any notifications, but in fact I turned it back on, and I was worried what would happen.
So we're good, though. Nothing affecting this. I don't have
All
to
good.
repeat anything.
All good. You should not have been drowned out by the single volume adjustment pop.
I did hear it.
Yeah, we heard it.
Boop.
Okay. Anyway, we're all over socials. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Like us, share us. Show your support there. You can also show your support monetarily if you're really, really, really into what we're doing.
'Tis the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
You to give us money for our great product.
That's right.
We'll even charge you less than we would on most other days of the year.
Because that's right. A Black Friday supports
Twice as free.
Our Black Friday special is our podcast is twice as free.
There it is. But if you feel like helping us out, Anchor.fm has a support button right there on our page. And we also have a Patreon as well. Patreon.com/Check Engine Podcast. We thank you in advance. Anything that goes in there comes out as much better content for you, the listener and the supporter. You know what? Besides money, you know what else helps? Is reviews.
Big time.
We need reviews. Specifically, particularly good ones.
Yeah. Give us good reviews.
Give us really good reviews. 5 stars if you're really into us. 4 stars if you think we got something to improve on. And
4 stars and a helpful comment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love some of those.
Yeah, we would love helpful, constructive criticism. You can flat out insult us too and swear at us and do that stuff. We're just not going to pay attention. But yeah, reviews are awesome. So please do that as well. Mm-hmm. What are we going to give the folks for the surprise Black Friday episode?
Well, we said we were shutting it down, and we lied. So what we're going to talk about is...
Not the first time we've lied to the people this year.
That's true.
We lied about Spotify for the longest time.
That was...
inadvertent.
Yeah, that was inadvertent. That was ignorance, not malice.
And we were eventually right.
Yes.
We lied for
We
so
should
long...
have talked about that on the We Were Right episode.
We lied for so long we became right.
Yeah. Yep.
But, well, we're going to talk about the year ahead. I mean... This was a tumultuous year, to say the least, in the auto industry. And some interesting stuff is happening. It almost feels like we're at some kind of precipice where 2019 is going to be the year we find out about a lot of stuff. So from electric cars being the real deal, or making it to sort of mass market, to Ford shutting their doors, to
Just closing up shop.
Nope, no more Ford.
to whatever. A lot of stuff could happen. So just talk a little bit about next year.
Before we get into next year, does anybody have... This is like for real, the last pace lap or pace laps of the year. Does anybody have anything?
I have one thing based on the weather today, and it's a question for Tristan.
All right, I'm ready.
So we had our first snow today,
Yes.
and it's beautiful and all that other stuff.
It's not beautiful. It sucks.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
sucks.
Outvoted. Shush.
Yeah. Anyways, this morning I had a dentist appointment, so had to kind of drive across the county from where I live to get to the dentist I like. And on the way, I saw, as you would predict, 1 million WRXs.
Roughly 1 million.
Yeah. All of them were completely covered in snow. So my question for you as a WRX owner is, does no one keep these inside?
I do.
Or do they just leave them outside? Do you feel like you're doing a disservice because it doesn't look like you were just fresh from the rally, bro?
No.
I will say that all the ones, covered in snow, they actually did have hella lights. They had the whole kit. They were like that. You know what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
I do.
I know you know.
Yeah, I missed the window to install my rally armors before the first snow.
That's true.
So,
I mean, so just something you might want to think about. If you want to fit in, if you really want to be in this club, you might have to keep your car outside.
Forget the flat brim hats.
I won't.
You won't forget the flat brim
I
hats?
won't store my car outside.
Oh.
I really want to see him in a flat brim hat.
I've
know
got
we
a
talked
couple.
about it before.
I've got a couple. He can try one on later.
Look at the noodle. Look at the circumference.
It is.
They're adjustable.
What's your
Okay.
hat size? 19?
I don't even know. It's probably almost 18.
Jesus.
I don't
It's
think they
high
make-
17s.
I don't think they make hats
Yeah,
that big.
I think it's high 17s.
Damn.
Son.
Half of it's hair.
I was gonna say, yeah, if he gets a haircut, it's down to like a 13.
Oh, that's funny.
It's like the dog. Once I get my head wet.
Oh, man. I think the only place for Subarus are either in the wilderness or on the back of a trailer, getting towed to the wilderness.
I'm just trying to keep you plugged into your culture. You know?
Yeah, that's
Just trying to give you
Thanks.
a little check there.
Thanks. Well, my only pace lap is also related to my car. It's
see.
about how I made the right choice.
Okay.
which is
An odd number of things that I had read around the time I was looking at my car were comparing the experience available in the Camry V6 Sport
yeah, the
with
300 horsepower one or whatever.
with the manual.
With the manual STI. Or the manual WRX.
Yes, they were. Well, there's a manual Camry.
Nuh-uh.
No, not the V6, the 2-liter. The
Gotcha,
2-liter,
okay.
the 2-liter turbo Camry with a manual.
Gotcha.
Compared to the WRX.
Weird.
Yeah,
Why'd you do that?
and I can back that up because it's nothing like it. Like I was behind one on my way over here today, and we were going up that. Blue Mound has that giant spaghetti bowl
Yeah.
of entrance ramps. They're terrible if you don't have a good car. They're really fun if you're driving something nice. Now, he may have been on snow tires, but I doubt it. I'm on snow tires, which already puts you at a performance disadvantage if it's in the dry, which by the time I was coming home, it was. It was no longer snowy.
right.
And I just ate him alive. It was the Sport. It was the 2-liter. The only thing I didn't know is if it was the manual, but the suspension setup would be the same.
I'm really wondering if they... Do they really make a manual Camry? I didn't think they did.
Yeah.
You sure you don't mean the Accord? Because they make a manual Accord.
Was that a 2-liter?
Yes.
Then that must have been what it was.
Accord.
Because I don't recall. The problem is they're all the same to me.
Honda Accord is what
Honda
it's
Honda
Accord.
Accord.
Honda Accord.
So
Not a Toyota Camry.
So anyway, I was behind one.
Yeah.
And
Now the story makes so much more sense.
yes, I was behind one and just ate his lunch.
Yeah.
Like,
As
there's
you would.
no comparison. That car is bigger, it's heavier, the suspension is not as complicated,
Well, 10 fewer horsepower as well, I think.
and just, like, barely controlling the body roll up the entrance ramp. I could have been going 25 miles an hour faster. I don't know who is comparing these two vehicles, but there has to be drugs involved.
Well,
Because
I mean, that's kind of my question about the WRX. Let's see. Black Friday. My blog post that'll be coming out on this actual day talks about the same thing.
I thought it would help.
It does, actually.
I thought it was an apropos story.
It was.
So, read Andrew's blog post about the WRX, compare that to my pace lap, and we've got some good material here.
We definitely do.
There it is. I've got nothing to contribute to that, so thanks to you two for that.
Yeah.
That's good. So, any other pace laps?
I have nothing.
Nothing?
Nope. All ready to jump right in.
All right. So, let's talk about 2019.
Like I said, it's definitely going to be a big year.
Yeah.
And I think one of the very biggest things is at some point in 2019, Chevy's going to have to confirm or deny whether or not they're making a mid-engine Corvette. They're going to have to, because that's a 2020 model.
Right, so it's going to be launched at some motor show at some point in 2019.
Yeah. So, but here's my question for you, Nick,
I
specifically.
don't think they have to confirm it. I think we pretty much know.
Well, see, that's the but, you know, at some point they're going to have to either come out and say, yes, we're doing this, or deny it, or who knows? But what if the new Corvette mid-engine comes in at 150,000 or more, Nick? What if it comes in at the price that makes it directly competitive with the NSX? And, I mean, we're within striking distance of Ferrari. And, I mean, what if that's where it comes in?
Would moving the engine behind the seats actually increase the price that much?
Yeah, for sure.
Why?
There are no mid-engine cars that are. Is there any less than 100,000?
I think the biggest thing is I don't think it would from an engineering standpoint, but I think it allows you to market it in an entirely new bracket.
That's what I'm saying. No one's building. Look at the Fiero. Look at the MR2.
No one's not building those anymore.
Exactly.
Although I heard Toyota might build the Mr. 2 again.
They're not going to. Sorry, I just had a thought that my brain just totally ran out on a tangent about a story I should have mentioned in the Pace Labs. Oh well.
His brain ran away. I saw it happen.
But what if that car comes out much higher? I mean, that'd be, what, 50,000 more than the top tier?
I was going to say, that'd be almost 70, 80 grand more than any other base Corvette.
Yep. I'm just saying, what if that comes out? What if that happens?
I think, well, there's a couple of possibilities. One, they lose a whole lot of their buyer base. Like their customer base that's used to paying, just throw a number out there, 80 for a
Let's
Corvette.
say like 65 to 70.
65 to 70. So you're asking them to pay 80 grand more for a Corvette?
It has to be a completely different market. It has to be.
It has to be a completely different market. Or what if you market it as same configuration, same performance as an NSX, etc., for half the price?
Nah, I just don't see it.
Why?
Because, first of all, I mean, from all appearances, they're not stopping the C7 to produce the C8R. They're producing the C8R in addition.
As its own range topping.
Yeah, as it seems now, again. So, I mean...
As it seems like they haven't made the announcement yet.
Right, and that's, that's why...
Well, okay, so if they keep making the C7, then yes, put it in a different price bracket.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that gives it, like, better brand visibility or positions it in a more advantageous way?
Okay, so let me... I now I understand where if they're continuing to make the C7,
right,
and they're making the C8 concurrent with it, then they would have to put it in a different price bracket.
I think so. That's kind of like
never in Corvette's history have they made two different generations at the same time, though.
Did they not do that with 5 into 6?
I don't believe they did.
You would know much better than I would.
I don't think so.
I think there were just a lot of 5s on lots when the 6s came
That's
out.
probably what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they were still actively being produced. But
Yeah, because it was the same thing with 6 and 7. It just, they had them.
so that's something I'm not privy to because I'm not in the industry. You know, we're not pros here. But if we're operating under the assumption that the C7 is still going to be produced, yes, 100%. Then this is going to be another tier up.
So then, is that good for Chevy?
Are they still calling it the Corvette?
I
Because that goes back to your piece. The Corvette has to be the Halo car.
I genuinely think that they're going to keep calling both the Corvette.
And
that's kind of uncharted territory.
It is for Chevy, but I don't necessarily think that that's out of line for things that, like, other companies have ranges of vehicles.
Yeah.
Like, you've got everything from the base Golf to a Golf R. Mm-hmm. And I think...
Yeah, but they don't change the engine and drivetrain configuration. Like, it's essentially a different
Wrong.
car.
You're wrong.
All-wheel drive in the Golf R.
Did they move the engine to the back?
No, but that's...
So,
But I'm
I
saying
mean,
is
like,
that...
Not the engine configuration. However, it is a fundamentally different car.
Yes.
Because everything about it, aside from the MQB chassis, which is in literally everything else on the lot, is different. Even a different door configuration. Well, yeah. I mean, two-door, but,
yeah.
You know.
So I think that again, it's a smaller continuum, because I think if Volkswagen, because think about it, you're starting with an economy car. Mm-hmm. So the fact that the top of the range has ungodly amounts of horsepower and all-wheel drive and all this other stuff, that's a big difference across that starting point. When you're starting with a $70,000 Corvette, you can have a Corvette R, the C8R, and so call it the same thing. I don't think it diminishes the value of the Corvette, and you can still call it that because you're not. I mean, nobody looks at a Golf R who is interested in one and says, "I'm not going to buy it because it's called a Golf." And no one who's buying the basic economy Golf is going to be, "Oh, I'm not going to buy this well-built economic vehicle because there's a race car version of it." Sure. Like, no. And I think I don't think you're going to hurt anything by calling it the Corvette. I think you could have a Halo car that shares a nameplate with a non-Halo car.
I see where you're coming from, but I don't think GM is going to do that.
What do you think they're going to do?
I think the 2019 C7s are going to be the last run of the C7s, and they're going to go into the 2020 C8 Corvettes as the mid-engine, and that's
they're just going to go full.
Yep.
Just right on.
Now, what if we've already caught the clue? If they are calling it the C8R,
which is still purely conjecture,
right? But if they were to do something like that, Golf R C8R, and they release a front rear configuration C8, that is just a quote unquote normal Corvette.
But see, I don't think they would do that either, because if you look at the generations of Corvette, I don't know that they would rebrand a same car, a Stingray, as a C8 with just like updated headlights and interior or whatever, just to do it. You know what I mean? Doesn't seem to fit what they would do either.
No.
But something to look forward to, as we mentioned, all conjecture.
Directly related
Looking forward to the answer, though.
Directly related to that, actually. Speaking of...
We're compiling notes for our We Were Right episode.
Next year, we were all wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're moving directly onto a car exactly related to that. The Veloster N is probably the car I'm most excited about for... No, it is. Yes. For 2019, because that's going to come out. It's going to drop in America. We briefly mentioned in the last episode that they're bringing it into IMSA. They're going to race it in the real... big time.
TCR. Yep.
Yeah, they're racing in TCR. And the question for me is, will Hyundai produce this car in volume? Because the last time I talked to my Hyundai person, they said that even though they were the largest volume seller of Hyundais in the state, they were probably not going to get one. But they also said that they were going to lose Genesis at that time. So, I mean, this is the difference. In 4 months, Hyundai's gone from pulling Genesis and not producing Ns to bringing Genesis to everyone who wants it and putting Ns into the real race circuit in America. So, I mean, there's so much upheaval there. that, I mean...
Well, and I think the rules state that the car has to be in production, or at least plans to be in production if you want to race it.
Right, no,
because IMSA is owned by NASCAR, and that's a NASCAR rule.
You know, it's a real car. There are some, they're out in the world, they've been driven and tested already by various magazines, but they're not, for sale on lots quite yet.
Right.
Yeah, and I think
so. I guess define volume when you say you're going to make the Veloster N in volume.
Here's what I mean. It's very simple. If
like 1 per lot, 7 per lot.
Well, that's my thing, because the car that I have, the R-Spec, was a very low volume production car. I mean, 1 per dealership was rare. In this area, it was typically 1 per every 5 or 6 dealerships. You know what I mean? They're pretty rare. But I would expect to see something almost similar with the N, but I really hope they kind of go the opposite way, because according to how the price is estimated, basically they're offering the car in 2 performance trims. It comes in base with 250 horsepower, which will start projected around 27,000, and there's an available performance option that brings up to 270 horsepower for around the 30,000 mark. So if they bring the car into lots at those price points, that's a direct shot at Subaru, which right now the WRX has no real competitors in the market. Even the 250 horsepower in a lighter car, yes, front wheel drive, yes, all this other stuff, is going to give it similar performance numbers to the WRX.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you think about, like, when you talk about are they going to bring it over in volume, kind of going back to it, what I could consider volume for a halo car of that type does compare to the Golf R.
Yeah.
Where, like, in 2018, 17, 16, respectively, it was 2,500, 2,700, just about 2,000.
Yeah, but what you got to remember is that, well, volume is one thing, and I cover this in my blog post. The WRX sold 30,000 models last year.
Right.
That's volume.
Yep, and I think that's, that speaks to having that range. I think because you're looking at cost only very slightly more than like a GTI.
Right.
For all-wheel drive and a lot more horsepower in just the base model, minus the SCI. I think a lot of those numbers are going to be all... excuse me, finally. It's going to be those, like, just base and, low-trim WRXs.
Right.
And I think if they're going to offer the N in similar trims, where you're going to have, like, the regular N and then...
there's the N, and then I think it's just the performance.
Yeah,
back.
so it's like it's back to back when, like, the WRX was actually part of the Impreza line.
Yeah.
It's like you've got the Veloster, you've got the Impreza, you've got the Impreza Sport, comparable to, like, the Veloster Turbo, kind of, and you've got the N, comparable to the WRX, and then the N Sport or Performance or whatever, comparable to an SCI. I think that lineup matches well.
And obviously, Hyundai's not going to come out and sell or produce even 30,000 of these in year 1. But I would love to see production numbers for the N, or sales numbers of 10,000, 12,000. I think that's a really good number, because, Hyundai's not in the same way as Subaru a volume seller, and they're still establishing the brand, blah, 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 blah. I think 12,000 would be a good number. If that is the number at the end of 2019, I'll be super pleased with that, because that means they're showing up on lots and then they're moving.
Yep, and as
I was going to say, that means it's movement. That means there's turnover, which that's not just mean like 1 per lot. That means 3, 4.
Right.
Yeah, and I think something that we talked about in one of our early episodes too is that I think our generation, more than a lot of others, is very open to being fans of many car brands. So the fact that I bought a WRX does not make me any less excited actually for the Veloster N.
Right.
I love the new Veloster styling, the 2019 styling.
Me too.
Finally brought it to a point where I'm like, I actually like the way the car looks. Once you bought yours, I kind of understood it.
Yeah.
And was like, I get it. I don't prefer it.
Even I don't
but
love
I get it.
Yeah.
But I love the 2019 Veloster.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the N to come.
That's a really good thing to keep an eye on. I'm very excited. And also, I feel very heard at the moment. I feel very seen as someone who drives a Hyundai.
Yes.
So, in the race series and off the track, it's all exciting stuff there.
Very cool. I'm interested to see what happens in the electric car realm in 2019. It's going to be a big year in some form or fashion.
Definitely.
Whether it's like, oh, this shit's taking off, or oh my gosh, this is failing miserably. Like, I feel like 2019 we're going to be on the cusp of something with electric cars, but it's just kind of hard to tell what it is.
Yep.
We've got to be. That cusp has to come at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can't keep teasing us forever. Someone's got to make a move on something.
Yep.
And I think we're in a good spot for it. I think we've got the Hyundai Ioniq series. We've got the Chevy Bolt.
They really need to get off their asses and do a major redesign on those cars.
Yes, they need to
It
do
was so good when it came out,
They're
and they just
losing
let it
market
sit.
share like this. It's just died.
Yeah, and I think because it is a good car for an electric car. And it just needs to be restyled and it needs to be marketed. It needs to be pushed.
Yeah.
And I think if those decisions get made. And then, so we've got everything from the electric commodity car all the way up to something on my list that I'm really excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Probably slightly fueled by my distaste for Tesla. Is the Porsche Mission E.
I was going to just mention it. Damn it.
So that was
beat me to it,
on my
Dudley.
excited list. We've got the other end of the spectrum, and hopefully, what is that going to do to a Tesla Roadster, the new one?
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's bad things.
I mean, so they're pricing it in range with like a Panamera, so they're thinking about 85
Sure.
for the Mission. It's the battery motors can generate up to 600 horsepower. So think and move. Mm-hmm. It can, as they say in NFL terms, it can scoot.
Get a wiggle on.
They can scoot.
Back on
But it's also got like I was looking it up, and like the interior has like eye tracking technology.
Yep.
So I can tell how often you're looking at the dash versus the road.
Yeah, that's.
And it also has the
shit.
digital display panels actually like move with your eyes.
Oh, that's gonna break.
Yeah.
God, I'm the worst.
No, I do the same thing. However, what I do love, I actually love the design from what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. I
love
think it's gorgeous.
A weirdest thing, I love the seats.
That is kind of weird.
I love the seats. I do.
like, for a Porsche, coming from me, I actually love the styling of the thing.
So I'm
It
excited.
seems like they tried.
I'm excited to see what that turns out to, because I think when Porsche turns the German engineers loose on it, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. So
And-
I'm pumped.
Also in that realm, on the electric side of things, the Jaguar I-Pace.
I'm
also-
very interested in the I-Pace because it seems like it hit with huge fanfare. I mean, people were saying some, I thought, pretty outlandish stuff about it, especially on car Twitter. They're like, this is the best electric car I've ever driven. Best styling, best interior. It's the best. It's the best.
Well, it's modeled after the F-Pace, which is their gasoline SUV. So
Well,
the
I know.
styling is almost exact. They essentially just switched the motors.
But now,
But wait.
the switch has gone to, oh shit, actually this range is a little low.
240 miles.
Yeah, it's kind of come back around to like a reality kind of thing.
Yeah.
But all that aside, if a company like JLR, who makes 7 to 8 cars a year, can get people this excited for well, I mean, it's Jaguar Land Rover. They only make cars that are more than $65,000. They really do.
Yeah.
They're not cars for
They're not a
regular people.
volume seller.
No. But if they can get people this excited, and I don't know whether they just drove the right hype. I don't know if they just brought the right celebrity endorsements.
And I agree. If they can get this much hype about, personally, I'm going to play the role of Andrew tonight. If they can generate this much hype for a car that entirely bores me.
I think it's super ugly, but
It's boring and ugly, and I don't care for it. But if they can generate that much hype,
but it shows that it can be done.
yes.
So, next person up. Let's see who else can do it. Whoever can find that success where a big manufacturer, international manufacturer, can drive what almost seemed like, it didn't come across as phony ground level excitement. It seemed very genuine coming from people for this car. Mm-hmm. Hey, it's possible. You can create buzz for electric cars.
Personally, I still don't think this entire thing is this electric car idea is going to really take off until there's more of a network to support it.
Completely agree.
Like, we mentioned it on another episode, if you're not in Southern California where there's a billion charge stations, it really doesn't make a difference because lithium ion, look, we work for a company that handles a lot of lithium ion. You can make them last longer, you can make them go farther on, per charge and all this type of stuff, but they still don't like the cold. Mm-hmm. you get north of that Mason-Dixon line, and you're going to run into issues.
Yeah, without a extensive charging network.
Without an
Electric cars become...
Which is a business opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Own electric charge stations.
You know what's actually really interesting? I was having a conversation with the guy who cuts my hair, who daily drives a Nissan Leaf, and is very proud of it, whatever. He said that, well, because looking at it objectively, I mean, he's got a rather large family. It's him and husband, and they have 3 kids.
Yeah.
In a Nissan Leaf? No, I don't think so. But
if the kids are small.
they're not. They're teenage kids now.
Yeah.
But he said the biggest shift was mentally changing the thought process of what it means to refuel your car. It's no longer something you can do as its own trip. You now have to make that as part of a separate destination. So what that means is, according to his, where he is, there's a charging station near the grocery store. So you kind of have to go charge the car, go to the grocery store, and then go get the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very impractical at the current moment, but in another sense, if you look at the opportunity to expand charging networks into places exactly like grocery stores, it starts to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, when it gets to the point where it becomes more like power tool batteries, where they don't it's great that they last longer, but the key thing is if you've got your charger with you and you have enough opportunities to rest that battery and put it on the charger, then the fact that it could run dry at any time is minimized because you're always topping it up.
Yeah.
If everywhere you go you can park next to a charging spot, then really that's only leaves out big road trips. Something that's been my, as someone who drives road trips all the time, that's my biggest concern. Is it's going to add 8 hours to a road trip,
right,
just to charge the stupid thing over a moderate distance.
Right, and especially now with the modern lithium-ion batteries, they don't have the memory, so you can run them for a very little bit of time and not have to worry about that short charge.
However, though, all of the batteries, all lithium-ion batteries, are still beholden to a charge cycle lifespan.
Yeah, but that's total percentage, though.
That is total percentage, and it does have to do with complete cycles. And a cycle isn't counted as full discharge to recharge. A cycle is when you put it back on the charger.
No, a cycle is counted by every time it charges 100%. Be that 90 to 100 10 times.
Right. Well, that's what. Yeah, that's what.
Right.
90 to 110 times or 0 to 100 one time is both one cycle.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anytime a total of 100% is charged.
Oh, I thought it was just up to 100.
It's a total
or
of 100%.
Or a total of 100. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically anytime you've managed to put 100 percentages into the battery, that's a cycle. Even if you wear it down to 50% and charge it, then 50% and charge it, that's still only one cycle.
I'm still, those numbers will add up faster than you would think.
Oh, sure.
Right, and that's
and I don't know if
that's no matter how you're charging them, your lithium-ion battery is only going to have a certain amount of mileage in it.
Right. I don't know if Tesla still does this, but I know a while ago they used to throttle batteries specifically based on the charge life cycle.
I'm sure
they would put them in limp home mode after a certain number of charge cycles regardless.
Yeah, and that's something that, I'm sure Tesla fans applauded them for, which is the difference between people who love Tesla and people who love Apple. Because when Apple did that for their phones, they got a lawsuit. Because
funny, they're the same people, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But it's that's what lithium-ion batteries do. When they reach a certain cycle count, their outputs become unstable, and if you're running electronics on unstable power, they die.
Yeah.
And so you have to limit the draw. So you tone the motors down. On a phone, you turn the processor down. It's the same thing, so you don't get odd behavior from your electronics. You have to reduce their draw below the lowest point in that fluctuation.
Right.
And that's so they go into limp home mode when their batteries are worn out.
Man, there's so much to this. I mean, there really is, and it does honestly seem at some point it's got to be put up for shut up time, right?
Yep. I think a lot of these questions we're going to find out a lot about because I think it's time.
We have to.
Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing it.
On the other end of...
I think if it doesn't happen, I think if we don't get to that cusp, I think the general public, the impatience one way or another is going to start to show too.
I think you might actually have people starting to lose interest.
I don't even know, because it seems like there are a gaggle of people living in the Bay Area that will just give Tesla infinity chances.
That's
Specifically
true.
Tesla.
That's true.
Which, whatever, they can go and do that.
Well, hey, that's up near Silicon Valley. That's the tech capital of the country. So
even still related to hybrids and battery power, Skoda Vision RS, that car that Skoda stole out of my brain to put in production to make money off of me specifically.
Damn you, Skoda.
That they then will not sell here.
Right. That car...
Does it avoid a lawsuit if you don't sell in the country of the guy?
Yeah, because where are you going to litigate it?
Exactly. What is this?
In your mind. Mind litigation.
Anyways, that car I think is extremely important because with the production of that, just basically a Golf with a nice little hybrid motor in it, they are on the cusp of a hybrid hot hatch, which would be it would be between $26,000 and $27,000. So affordable, quote unquote, performance car. I think they said like 210, 213 horsepower in the first one. So we're in that hot hatch borderland.
You're in GTI territory.
Yeah.
More torque.
Yeah.
Less horsepower.
So I don't know. I think that could be a very important car because if that sells, there's no way VW Group doesn't just pull that technology right into themselves.
It's going to be a perfect little... It's like a test tube
absolutely.
incubator type.
Yeah.
Let's see how it sells with Skoda.
Low-key, Skoda has been leading the way for the regular brand of VW for a while.
All the engineering is essentially coming from the same place.
Yeah.
And they're just bouncing it off their lowest market share division and saying, see if it sticks. And, what I'm related, again, VW and electricity, I'm also interested in the new e-tron.
Which is
coming 19.
What is that? Because when I first saw it, it was an R8 derivative.
Yeah, so there was an R8 e-tron.
Aren't they doing a Q7 e-tron also?
I believe they are. I'm just talking about just no numbers or letters. It's just the Audi e-tron. It's kind of a little, kind of fastback shooting brake kind of deal. The one thing I don't like about it is it does look like it's filter feeding. Giant mouth. The uniframe grill.
Sure.
But other than the grill, which people also said about when they released a new Shield grill, but other than the grill, I quite like it. I think I'm excited to see what they do with it. They do say they're releasing it late 2019, around the same time all the Mission E and a bunch of other stuff's coming out. So I think we're going to reach that tipping point where between luxury brands and consumer regular brands,
right,
we're hitting critical mass with electric cars where maybe not in every market, but at least in a large enough sample size to matter, we're going to see how electric cars do. And I'm excited for it.
And don't forget, it's going to be put up or shut up time for Ford in the next year too, because they announced that the only cars they would have moving forward would be the Mustang and then some kind of hybrid Mustang / hybrid SUVs, blah, blah, blah. I mean, electrification has to have a moment at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
The more we talk about it, the more I'm realizing actually it's really dumb that it's been this long.
Yeah.
We've just been talking and talking and talking.
Especially sport-based hybrid technology is overdue.
We're at the point now where it's becoming recursive.
Yes.
We've been at this for so long that Toyota is chopping lines of the Prius. That's how long we've been doing this, folks. It's been a million years.
Yes.
Roughly, give or take.
They've lost so much money on all those Prius variants they put out a couple years ago. They're cutting most of them. That's how long it's been. Come on.
Yep. Do you mind if we make a sharp right turn?
I would appreciate
away
it.
from the green future?
Let's do that.
And back into the purely liquid dinosaur past?
Let's do it.
Yes.
So I'm actually particularly excited for small truck season.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Because two things I'm excited for because I think they're going to be at least partially competitive. We mentioned it. I don't think we were recording it. I think it was pre-show last week, actually, for the new Jeep Gladiator.
Yes.
I I'm excited to see how that looks.
Definitely.
It's been out and about. We know it's coming.
I'm
but
interested
it's
to
been
see the size of it because based on the pictures, I have no idea.
It is based on the Wrangler Unlimited frame.
Right, I know that.
So it's that slightly longer.
In some of the pictures I was seeing today, it looked very, very like OD long, like longer than a full size pickup, and I was like, nah.
No, it doesn't help that it's wearing a baggy sweater.
That's probably
Like it's not. We haven't actually seen it yet. But it's on the Unlimited frame, four door pickup from Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
Pretty cool.
As you read in my blog, what will be now 3 weeks ago. It was coming out
a week or two ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever.
Time is a funny thing.
I'm kind of the off-road guy. Nick bought a truck. He's also one of the truck guys, but I'm really excited for the Jeep one, and I'm also excited for the Ranger because
very excited for the Ranger.
Damn near bought an old one.
Ranger hype,
and I'm hoping that they do good things with it because they need anything they get.
Small truck. I'm also very excited. We're all excited for the Ford Bronco return.
Indeed.
I guess that's late 2019.
Yep,
I
also
would imagine.
Slated at this point, late 2019. Mm-hmm. Very exciting.
I still think they should.
Iconic.
Excuse me. I still think they should put OJ in a white one for a commercial.
I think they should too.
It's not too soon anymore.
There were like 3 documentaries in the past 5 years alone. I think as a nation,
I think we're ready.
As a nation, we're ready to go. He probably did it.
Yeah. And we should put him in a white Bronco for a commercial. I think so.
So tasteless.
Do we want to just speaking of Ford and small trucks, it is possible that Ford might be helping Volkswagen bring a small pickup over.
And what I'm hoping is that it's enough technology sharing, basically to bring over some of the Volkswagen trucks from Europe, but helping them with, U.S. certifiable gas drivetrains. Basically, would be my hope.
I actually see it. I've thought of this very differently. I think what may end up happening is a symbiotic relationship, for lack of a better term, that's closer to Ford Mazda. I understand the VW Group is much bigger, but I honestly think that Ford at some point, or maybe even at this point, will be willing to just give VW some truck chassis in exchange for, a share of the MQB.
Yeah, that would be something that would be weird to me.
It would be very weird.
But
I don't know if it's fully outside of the possibility.
No, and I'd be excited to see, because there were they were very similar, but there were some interesting differences between those the Mazdas that were basically Rangers, and the Mazda Tribute that was the Ford Escape, but in my opinion better.
Yes.
So I'd be curious to see what Volkswagen would take from that template that Ford gives them and make from it. I'd be excited to see that.
Well, there was also Ford's EcoBoost engine line.
Yes.
Was it from the Mr. Regular episode on the Mazda Speed 6? It's possible that it looks like that block was developed during the collab with Mazda.
Yeah.
And then, eventually changed and mounted differently and all that stuff. But
it turned from EcoBoost into Sky Active.
Yeah. So this is fruitful ground in a lot of ways for car manufacturers. And if you look, since that partnership broke up, Mazda's never been the same. They have no new ideas. They're completely flat right now.
Yeah, and it's not directly related, but I was reading something about how every once in a while it's good to kind of have an antitrust party and break everything up and stir the pot. And I think it's kind of the opposite in the car industry.
Yeah.
I think you don't want them permanently merging because then you don't get competition. But I think whenever two normally very different car companies kind of join their brains, you get interesting stuff for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch.
It could be big for both.
Yeah.
Big new markets for both manufacturers.
I think Ford needs it.
They have to do something.
Yeah, they need it now, more than ever, probably.
Other cars. I am very excited for the Genesis G70.
Yes.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Yes, we were all thinking the same. I was sad I didn't get to jump on it when we were talking about the Veloster N.
Yeah.
I was gonna segue from there, but we zigged.
Yeah.
But yes,
No, I'm so excited for the G70.
Very pumped.
I love small luxury cars.
I do too.
I'm a fan of what Genesis is doing, period.
In general, and that's why I'm so excited for the G70 because I love the RS3. I love the one Mercedes.
Yes,
The
definitely.
BMW 1 Series. The 1M especially.
Yeah.
I love small luxury cars, and I think that I'm excited to see what Genesis can bring to the table because I think it's going to be somehow like Audi and Volkswagen were for a while, where they were not directly competitors, but they were in the same segment and sharing a bunch of technology.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the G70 go, if not head to head, almost shoulder to shoulder with the Stinger.
Definitely.
Well, that's what it's aimed at. It's
Yeah.
it's the Stinger. It's the Alpha Giulia.
Yep.
Kind of in that realm. And this thing is, Genesis, just from what they've done with the G80 and the G90. Well, G90 is big car. I'm really not a fan of
Huge.
it.
It's massive.
I like it for its job.
I'm a big fan of the G80 though. And the thing is, we talked about this before too. The Hyundai Kia group is kind of like the kings of stuff. Like they put
Lord of the Things.
Yeah.
Lord of the Things. They put a lot of things in their cars, and they're so cost conscious. This thing, the price is going to come in. They haven't really announced what the price is. At least I couldn't find it. But it's going to come in under what Alpha and Audi are going to be.
What I read was very nebulous, and that it would start lower than the base 3 Series with more stuff.
Yeah.
6-speed, there's an optional 6-speed manual with a 3.3 liter twin turbo V6 that puts out 365 horsepower.
What I
That is going to be a fun car.
To quote an overly quoted show, but I think one of my favorite lines ever, that gets my flappy doodles twitching.
Yeah, there you go. I will say that I read, it was maybe Motor Trend, a big car mag, did a first drive of the G70, and they were saying some things that put the car in the conversation with the M3. Mm-hmm. And, not the current M3, because that's what BMW does. They just jump ahead every generation.
Yeah.
But, had the feel of an older one, which is a compliment, and
especially because as we talked about that one episode, everybody keeps bugging BMW to make one like the old one.
Right, that's right.
Maybe they can give it up finally, but if they won't, then maybe they can go buy a G70.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this drives the Genesis line to expand some more, because they got to get some SUVs in there, get those nice fat profit margins.
I think you were talking about the ridiculous name for Hyundai's new
Palisade for their 8-passenger SUV.
Make that a Genesis.
I think get a Genesis version of that.
Oh, they're going to.
Yep, 100%, for sure.
100%.
But yeah, no,
book it. We were right. 2020. That's right. The Genesis SUV based on the Palisade.
Based on the Palisade. Based on the Santa Fe. The Hyundai just redid the naming scheme for the Santa Fe again.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Santa Fe Plus, whatever. I don't care. They're going to get, Genesis will get all 3
SUV
small,
sizes.
medium, and large in the next year and a half to 2 years.
So I was very excited when reading about the G70. It's what I've been contending for a long time. I have not yet pulled the trigger on one because of my devotedness to all-wheel drive, and it would have to be a high-tier Stinger to get that. But I really see Hyundai, Kia, Genesis kind of being the new Volkswagen, Audi, and then higher end Audi. there isn't really a third one.
I guess second Audi.
Yeah, but it's like
Audi again.
Yeah, versus stock A4 versus S4.
It's actually a little bit more like Seat.
Yeah, Seat,
VW,
Volkswagen, Audi. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think they've got a lot
seat?
of seat.
Every time.
Yep.
I think they got a lot of innovation. They took all the designers I liked, apparently.
Yeah.
Which is great. But I'm excited to see where they go because they've made such great strides in such a short a time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting to see whether that burns out or keeps going.
To circle all the way back to the N and all the way back to the Genesis, something has to sell. And that's the thing that that's the thing that slightly worries me, because one thing I've noticed just in the way people talk about these cars is that they're very willing to praise them, but very few people actually go out and buy
them. Yeah. Yep.
That's true. That's true.
Hey,
we like your posts on Facebook, but we're not going to click the link.
Hey,
Right.
hey, Hyundai, mark my words. Here's a promise
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
from me directly, not the podcast, from me directly to Hyundai.
No, it's from all of us. We're in this together.
If I get a promotion and have the money to buy a G70, and you make an all-wheel drive G70, they call it H drive.
Yeah, H drive.
I will buy one.
You're gonna end up in a Stinger.
I know.
What are you going to do with the WRX and the Jeep? And
Well, that's when I need to replace it.
Yeah,
Because I'm not going to get a promotion probably right after getting a new job. There's going to be some time.
Oh man. What else is good? What else you got?
the one I'm very interested to see, and it's out already. So it was a late 18 release, but it's for 2019 models. So I want to let it percolate a bit and see what the long-term reviews, all those types of things are on this variable combustion engine that Nissan's pushing out.
Yeah, on the
It's on the Altima.
what's it called? The name for the engine. They have a name for the.
Oh.
Variable
Yeah, no, but they have a hot button word for the. I can't remember what it is.
It's
They call it
clearly
like
not
the
hot button
something
enough.
engine.
Oh, yeah, it's not hot button enough. It's not the hot button.
Well, there are places calling it like the Holy Grail engine or whatever.
I don't think it's. I'm not going to go that far, but I just think the idea is so just out there, and it has a lot of benefits to it. And I think if it works for Nissan, that might be you're going to see a lot of other companies following suit with it. But I'm just interested to see what the actual like long-term reviews and thoughts are on this engine and how it actually hits in the marketplace.
I actually have a prediction for this one.
Yeah?
I think that this venture of this engine is going to fail. And I think that you will see this technology reemerge in a more low-key way. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the brand marketing, or it's not going to be the the way they market the car. It's going to show up in kind of a more backdoor way, similar to what happened with Skyactiv technology. Mazda tried to move cars using
Based on engine technology.
Skyactiv. No one gives a shit.
Yeah, and it was, and even where it was successful, based on like reviews of the car, like fuel economy, responsiveness, things like that, Audi was selling with FSI and TFSI when stratified injection was the big new thing. They were like advertising everybody like, oh, we've got this new engine technology. Everyone's like, so
Yeah, no one cares.
what does it do?
Does it make more fast?
It makes more fast with less gas. Oh, I like that.
you
And
go.
that's what they advertised. They advertised increases in power and increases in fuel economy and didn't tell you how it happened.
Right. So that's my prediction.
So maybe
for
they just
that.
market it differently. Instead of saying, hey, it's this blank engine, just give the name, let's market it as, hey, this new Ultima or this new Maxima or this new whatever it is has more power, more responsive, and like that, and just don't worry about what the tagline of the engine is.
Well, what I'm seeing is an opportunity for them to boomerang this technology back around when they come back with the Juke, which is definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
So that, because remember, the Juke was their most powerful car on the lot for, barring the GTR, which isn't on lots, let's be real.
Which was hilarious, by the way.
It was their most powerful car. So, I mean, there's a point at which that's going to come back, because they realize that they made a mistake killing that. That's your opportunity. I think that's when it really takes off, because that's then their volume seller again.
Right. What else? Anything else that we're super excited to see?
Those are my most exciting things. I feel like that was a lot.
We talked
as far
electric,
as-
we talked Hyundai, we talked e-tron, we talked small trucks, Genesis, Nissan's variable combustion or variable displacement engine,
VCR. That's what they call it.
Wii U.
VCR.
Great.
Yep. Literally like
Remember VCRs?
say literally like the thing in your living
like
room in the 90s.
We actually had a VCR rewinder that was shaped like a car.
Oh,
There you go.
nice.
Circle.
Prescience.
Full circle.
I'm just looking at my little list here. I don't actually have a lot of other stuff other than, with the entry of Hyundai into IMSA, I gotta say, I genuinely do feel excited about that. I may actually watch a race on TV now.
Woo!
On my own. I might do it.
IMSA's getting them.
I might do
Scott Atherton.
Got him.
I'm buying all the gear.
Got
you guys.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even... I'm having lanyards and polos and you don't even know.
Polos.
You don't even know.
Polos and hats.
I'm gonna look like a race driver. I'm just gonna walk places. Try and stop me.
No one will. You look like you belong.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, new class structure in IMSA in the big series with the prototypes.
Yes, all that race.
So
stuff.
we covered that stuff on the Racing Roundup episode, kind of looking ahead. What is Michelin going to do? I mean, Continental did a lot for IMSA.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Michelin, I feel like, has some deeper pockets. They actually purchased the naming rights to Road Atlanta now.
They did.
Oh wow!
It's now like Michelin Raceway at Road
right.
Yeah,
Atlanta.
they gave them a bunch of money to redo the tower.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
well, and naming rights and all the other stuff. But,
Yeah.
so what will Michelin, what are we going to see for Michelin? Their encore is the weekend that we're recording this.
Yes, it is.
So everyone gets a first taste in a race setting of what a Michelin tire will be like on those cars.
Speaking of racing, I mean, we have to mention again, I think, that NASCAR next year could look like a completely different sport.
Different sport,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Sprint Cup. Monster Energy
will
Cup.
always be that.
Yeah, Monster
It's
Energy
fine.
Cup could be... I mean, I don't even know how different it's going to be.
I don't think anybody knows yet. It's got, I mean, completely blank notebook.
It's going to be bizarre.
Yeah.
And not being a person who watches racing on TV, I'm excited for next year to end the long, dark midnight of my racing soul because I don't watch it on TV. So it's like the last time I went to a track was Road America in August. I'm dying a little bit. And
Start watching on TV, bro.
It doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it. So I'm excited for more going to racing. More going to racing. We've discussed...
More going, even if we don't go to race tracks, how about more going, well, we will, but more going to Veloce Indoor Speedway Milwaukee.
Definitely
Plug there. Plug there.
Yep.
Neil Howard and the guys at Veloce.
We
Go
got to
see 'em.
see if we could get a little sponsorship from them. I love what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we're talking about maybe even, because it's such a short shot, maybe even a extra bonus race next year to Belle Isle.
That might be really fun.
Like a drive-in Friday night,
We could
Now
do
that-
that.
Saturday, Sunday.
Now that weekends are not request off for me,
Yeah, there you go.
I can go to IndyCar at Road America. I can go to Belle Isle. I can whatever else Nick wants to drag me to.
We can do so much
So-
much more.
So much time for
We
activities.
talked about you guys going to see a NASCAR race on an oval, possibly.
Possibly.
Joliet's not too far from here.
I'm very interested to see
and it's under the lights.
I know. I want to see what it looks like first. I just need to know what the heck we're going to see on track. Because
I'll let you know when the first night race of the NASCAR season is.
We'll
and
all
then-
come over and we'll watch it and we'll figure out what we're
that's a
going to
good
do.
plan. That's a
Okay.
good plan. That's what we'll do.
I'm excited for expanding my racing horizons.
Have a pizza party.
At a pizza party with NASCAR under the lights. F1, can anyone touch Lewis Hamilton? Probably not. Is Daniel Ricciardo's move to Renault gonna... This might not be a 2019 answer, but is it gonna be like a Lewis Hamilton where he gets in with a manufacturer just as they get it right?
We might have to play the long game on that one. We'll
I
see.
feel like it's so hard for people to do a Lewis Hamilton. You know what I mean?
That's, yeah.
I think a bunch of
Pull
people
a hammy.
try.
Yeah,
I really do.
right. Pull a hammy. Wow.
I heard
Nice.
it. I
Yeah,
heard
he
you.
heard it and he ignored me. But I kept looking at him until he acknowledged me.
IndyCar's going to COTA next year. Circuit of the Americas. Everybody is psyched about that.
That sounds pretty cool.
Can Dixon get number 6?
That is going to be pretty exciting. That's going to be pretty exciting.
Woo. By the way, there's a documentary movie that just got released.
I saw something about that the other day.
Well, it's on IndyCar as a whole, but it's based around Dixon. It's called Born Racer. I still haven't seen it, but I'm still going to recommend everybody go watch it just to get an insight on what the life of an IndyCar driver is
We'll
like.
do a group watch and
there you go.
then a
pizza party.
review blog post.
Yeah, a pizza
Why
party.
would you do a pizza party with Born Racer? Just keep over. Watch a Born Racer. Eat some pizza. It'd be great. What else are we excited about, or should we wrap it up? Are we getting to time?
We've got to be.
I'm getting to time. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of other stuff that's really stuck out to me. And I mean, just because it's not at the top of my mind. To go back to the Wrangler / small truck discussion, that has to lead to a small truck from Ram, right? There has to be some sort of Dakota or
Maybe,
something
or
coming
they
from
might
that.
just say that's what it is and just not.
I guess.
I kind of hope they bring it back, to be honest with you.
What's going on with FCA? I'm interested to see what happens to them, but I'm not
Actually
excited for it.
That's something we should have talked about because their CEO, Sergio Marchionne, just passed away
That's
not
true.
too long ago. So how are they, the new person in charge, whether it's an interim base or like the board votes somebody in on a more permanent basis.
Where's that going to go?
What direction is that person going to send the company?
Well, also, I mean, like we mentioned a few podcasts ago, yes, he did pass away, but FCA also did something since he passed away that they haven't done in 10 years, and that's sell cars.
Yes, more than who they beat, Ford?
Ford.
For the first time in...
I think it was since, like, 02
11 years or something?
That was
like
how long?
It was a long time ago. I don't remember.
And like which month did they do it in?
Last month, October.
Place they beat
For
Ford
October.
in.
Or was it
selling cars
September
after
because
Ford
it was
stopped
when we
selling
filmed
cars.
the two-man...
You're right.
So
yes.
September they did.
Yep. You're right.
But yeah, so
But
FCA...
still, they actually sold cars. I mean, you know,
Yes.
all butts aside about whatever Ford's doing, they actually sold some cars. So
numbers don't lie.
I mean, they're doing something.
Which warms my inherited car heart. Somewhere my dad is
What about
smiling
your
and
car
doesn't
heart?
know why.
What about your car heart?
It's warm and comfortable, and I love it.
There you go.
Mine's brown.
Mine's green.
I know. I wanted to get the green one, but you already had one.
Too late.
Couldn't match. What else? What else is going on out there?
What are you guys excited about, listeners? What are you excited to see in the automotive world in 2019? Let us know.
What car are you looking to buy?
Yeah.
Because
We're not buying cars anytime soon. We all just bought one within a year.
exactly. I'd be really interested to hear what
To
cars
live
people are buying.
vicariously through our listeners.
I would love to pass harsh judgment on the cars someone wants to buy. That sounds
Yes.
very good to me.
Oh my gosh.
Way to motivate people.
No. This could be
That's what they're
fun.
here for.
This could be fun. What are you looking to buy and submit it for judgment from Andrew?
Summary
Submit
judgment.
yourself for judgment.
That would be fantastic.
Ooh, hey, speaking of judgment, another car that I hate is dying in the next year. The Toyota 86 is finally getting the axe. Goodbye, you terrible also-ran.
So, my thoughts on that car are the neutral planet from Futurama. It doesn't excite me, but it also doesn't anger me, and it's going away, and I feel
Nothing.
What about you, Nick? You love rear-wheel drive.
I when it first came out, I thought it was... Well, when it came out in the Subaru form and the...
It's okay.
The
You
Scion
just
form,
say you bought the hype. Just say it.
I kind of did.
I know.
I thought it was going to be a lot... Well, look. Rear-wheel drive, manual, front engine, skinny tires. You can slide the thing around. It could be a fun little car to dink and dunk around in on a racetrack, and it just never really panned out. It's kind of disappointing, to be honest with you.
I bought the hype for about a month and a half until the Chicago Auto Show, and then I sat in it and went, nope. I rested
that
my hand
moment
on the
too.
dashboard and it went, dunk, and I went, well, nope.
I remember sitting in that car for the first time, too, and I was like, oh, yeah, I was right. You know, this is sort of the death knell for the affordable rear-wheel drive car. I mean, is there another one on the market? Not really.
Nope.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I guess Miata.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are fun to drive.
No one cares. That's the long and the short of this. No one cares about the 86, and no one's gonna miss it.
No one's going to miss it.
Yeah, that's fine. Just trying to think of other stuff.
But we are going to miss the listeners and all their feedback, over the next, month plus that we're going to be taking a break here.
Again, we're not gonna leave you without any content. We're still gonna be writing blog posts. Still gonna be social media.
We're still here. We won't let you forget us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're gonna come back better, stronger.
Better, stronger.
We have or will have the technology.
That's right.
We have or will have technology. We'll be better, more prepared. We're going to make season 2 a blasty blast for everybody. And, but yeah, hope you enjoyed this little surprise Black Friday episode,
I hope you're listening to it while you're standing in a line out in the cold.
or while you're driving to and from the stores that
Yes.
you're running to.
Do not listen to it while you're entering a store. It could be hazardous to your health to have your headphones in. Got to keep your head on a swivel so you
very
get
true.
trampled.
That's very true. I don't do anything on Black Friday, by the way.
Oh, I do.
I love it.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sleeping.
love it.
I participate in the gladiatorial
You
games.
have to.
No way.
Come on, man.
Dude, I worked at Kmart for 4 straight Black
I
Fridays.
worked at Apple Store.
I am done with Black
His
Friday.
is worse.
His is worse, but
Because people would come in and you didn't even have anything on special, and then they got mad.
well, people would come in when you ran out of things that were on special, and then they got mad.
True. But I did work retail for many Black Fridays, and
No, I hate it.
I want to be on the other side.
I love it.
That's why.
No way.
I love it.
I don't want any part of it. You guys go do it. I'm going to sit on my couch and eat leftover turkey.
Like I always say, it's life-giving to me to witness other people be sad.
Yeah.
By their own choice. This isn't like, some sadistic, oh, look, they're, hungry, literally dying of hunger. But no, they choose to work there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Suffer.
Or the people who know that these doorbusters are like one, and they get their hopes up.
That's
and then
even better.
You've raised my hopes and dashed them quite expertly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Or people get all worked up about the TV.
Yeah. So we'll be doing that on Black Friday,
Yes.
respectively, while you are hopefully listening to this episode and enjoying yourself. And
Have a Thanksgiving sandwich today.
yeah,
That's
That's
what-
the real highlight.
That's what I'm going to do while you guys are out.
I'll do that later. That's lunchtime.
Like that. Yeah, no way. I'll steer clear of it. But hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving. You're having a successful Black Friday shopping spree as you listen. And have a great holiday season. And we'll talk to you after the new year.
Yeah. Have a good holiday season. Bye.
See you.